Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor, glory, and praise facing the east to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Badash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayath and Dovadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. All right, this morning's lesson is going to go into the ravishing doctrine, or the grape doctrine. Okay, because this is a subject that a lot of people like to debate about and get all in their emotions about. But you know, the scriptures speak plainly. Okay, so we're going to get the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22. Okay, this is Deuteronomy chapter 22, starting at verse 13. And it says, "If any man take a wife, and go in unto her, and hate her, and give occasions of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid." Okay, when they say not finding her a maid, meaning not finding her to be a virgin, okay, to be untouched, you know, not being defiled with another man. So by bringing up an evil name, meaning, you know, give her a bad reputation, you know, digging up dirt on her or something. Verse 15, "Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity, and unto the elders of the city in the gate." Verse 16, "And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her." Verse 17, "And lo, he hath given occasions of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid. So I found her not a virgin, yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity." Excuse me. "And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city, and the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him." Okay, chastise, another word for punishment. And 19, it says, "And they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he hath brought up an evil name upon her, upon a virgin of Israel. And she shall be his wife, and he may not put her away all his days." So, a man gets him a woman, and you know, he speaks lies about her, try to give her a bad look. Then that woman's parents can bring those tokens of her virginity, and if she's found to be innocent, you know, the man who made those false claims have to pay, has to pay, that 100 shekels of silver to the father. Okay, so verse 20, "But if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel," 21, "then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones, that she die, because she hath wrought folly in Israel, to play the whore in her father's house. So shalt thou put evil away from among you." So if a daughter plays the whore, she brings shame unto her father, and therefore she must be put to death by being stoned to death, right in front of her father's house. "22, if a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman, so shalt thou put away evil from Israel." Okay? Adultery. is worthy of death. Verse 23, if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, verse 24, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones, that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife, so thou shalt put away evil from among you. So, if a woman belongs to another man, leave her alone. Verse 25. Excuse me. Verse 25, but if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her, and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. Verse 26, but unto the damsel thou shalt not do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor, and slayeth him, even so is this matter. So, so if a man rather, takes a woman, a betrothed woman by force, then he's gonna die. Verse 27, for he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. So, excuse me. So, if a woman cries not out, if she doesn't cry out for help, apparently she wanted it to happen. But if she does cry out, then okay, it's going to be on the man that forced himself on her. So, if a woman doesn't show any signs of struggle or crying out, then that means that she wanted this to happen, because she's not bucking up against it. Verse 28, if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, verse 29, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. Okay. And it says, it says right here, verse 30, a man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt. Okay, so no, like I said, no taking another man's woman, even if that man is your father. Okay, because in the kingdom we're going to have multiple wives, so you cannot desire any of those women if they belong to another man, whether your father, your brother, cousin, whoever. Those are his women. All right. Now we're going to go to let's see. We're going to go to the book of Susanna. Let me get to it real quick here. Bear with me. Susanna. It's going to be chapter. There we go. So, and now this chapter is about Susanna. It's about two elders that desired Susanna, and they try to bring up a case about her, giving her a bad name. But we'll get into it in a second. I'm going to start. Let me see. I'll start here. I'll start verse 1. Book of Susanna, verse 1. It says, There dwelt a man in Babylon called Joachim. Verse 2, he took a wife, whose name was Susanna, the daughter of Chelcias, a very fair woman, and one that feared the Lord. Her parents also were righteous, and taught their daughter according to the law of Moses. Now Joachim was a great rich man, and had a fair garden joining unto his house. And to him resorted the Jews, because he was more honorable than all others. And it says here, let's see. The same year were appointed two of the ancients of the people to be judges, such as the Lord spake of, that wickedness came from Babylon, from ancient judges who seemed to govern the people. Okay, so those ancients talking about elders, because we did have wicked elders that governed the people back then, causing the people to commit abominable acts, go off, do things that the Lord was against. Verse 6, these kept much at Joachim's house, and all that had any suits in law came unto them. Now, verse 7 says, now when the people departed away at noon, Susanna went into her husband's garden to walk. Verse 8, and the two elders saw her going in every day and walking, so that their lust was inflamed toward her. Okay, they desired her. Okay, now, as the scriptures say, one of the commandments is, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Okay, if another man has a wife, you cannot desire her. Okay, she belongs to him. Leave her alone. Don't look at her in any appropriate way. But you know, in this modern day society, adultery is a normal fucking thing. And you know, the thing is that the people who commit adultery, they can't get put to death over it, because in this society, if you kill someone, because adultery is worthy of death, you get put in prison. So the best thing you can do is just cut that person off. Verse 9, and they perverted their own mind and turned away their eyes, that they might not look unto heaven, nor remember just judgments. Okay? So, you know, so it says they might not look unto heaven, nor remember just judgments. So they were being carnal minded. You know, they were letting their flesh take over instead of, you know, ruling their spirit. Okay? Now, verse 11, or verse 10, it says, and albeit they both were wounded with her love, yet durst not one show another his grief. Verse 11, for they were ashamed to declare their lust, that they desired to have to do with her. Verse 12, yet they watched diligently from day to day to see her. Okay? So, like I said, these men, these two elders, you know, when it says that they were wounded with her love, you know, Susanna, apparently she was a very caring and kind person, and other than just being very beautiful to gaze upon, you know, this made them burn in their lust for her that much more, and they would watch her diligently from day to day. Verse 13, it says, and the one said to the other, let us now go home, for it is dinner time. Verse 14, so when they were gone out, they parted the one from the other, and turning back again, they came to the same place, and after that they had asked one another the cause. They acknowledged their lust, then appointed they a time both together, when they might find her alone. Okay? So, you know, these guys were plotting to do something to her. Okay? This is what happens when you let your flesh take over. Okay? In verse 15, and it says, and it fell out as they watched a fit time, she went in as before with two maids only, and she was desirous to wash herself in the garden, for it was hot. In verse 16, it says, and there was nobody there save the two elders that hid themselves and watched her. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get to the point, because I don't want to stick on this too long. Okay, and it says here, alright, let's see. So when the two maids had left, the elders got in, right? Now this is what happened. And I'm going to go down to verse 20, and it says, "Behold, the garden doors are shut, that no man can see us." Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and read all the way down. Starting at verse 17. "Then she said to her maids, Bring me oil and washing balls, and shut the garden doors, that I may wash me." 18. "And they did as she bade them, and shut the garden doors, and went out themselves at privy doors to fetch the things that she had commanded them. But they saw not the elders, because they were hidden. 19. "And when the maids were gone forth, the two elders rose up and ran in unto her, saying, Behold, the garden doors are shut, that no man can see us, and we are in love with thee. Therefore consent unto us, and lie with us. 21. "If thou wilt not, we will bear witness against thee, that a young man was with thee, and therefore thou didst send away thy maids from thee." No. So if she didn't consent, they were going to bring, false accusations, give her a bad rep. Going back to Deuteronomy. Going back to Deuteronomy 22 and verse 13. It says, "If a man," actually, I'm sorry, yeah, I'm gonna get to the point. Verse 14. "And give occasions of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her." So, so give occasions of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her. So, making false accusations, trying to make her look bad. Okay, that's what these men were trying to do if she didn't consent to them. Verse 21. If thou will not, we will bear witness against thee, that a young man was with thee, and therefore thou didst send thy maids from thee." 22. "Then Susanna sighed and said, I am straitened on every side." Straitened meaning troubled. "For if I do this thing, it is death unto me. And if I do it not, I cannot escape your hands." 23. "It is better for me to fall into your hands, and not do it, than to sin in the sight of the Lord." Verse 24. "With that, Susanna cried with a loud voice, and the two elders cried out against her." Okay. Verse 25. "Then ran the one and opened the garden door." 26. "So when the servants of the house heard the cry in the garden, they rushed in at a privy door to see what was done unto her. But when the elders had declared the matter, the servants were greatly ashamed. For there was never such a report made of Susanna." So again, they made those false accusations. In verse 28 it says, "And it came to pass the next day, when the people were assembled to her husband Joachim, the two elders came also full of mischievous imagination against Susanna to put her to death." 29. "And said before the people, Send for Susanna, the daughter of Chelcias, Joachim's wife. And so they went. And so she came with her father and mother, her children, and all her kindred. Now Susanna was a very delicate woman, and beauteous to behold. And these wicked men commanded to uncover her face, for she was covered, that they might be filled with her beauty." Okay, so these two elders were very perverse, wicked. 33. Therefore her friends and all that saw her wept. 34. Then the two elders stood up in the midst of the people, and laid their hands upon her head. And she weeping looked up towards heaven, for her heart trusted in the Lord. And the elders said, As we walked in the garden alone, this woman came in with two maids, and shut the garden doors, and sent the maids away. Then a young man who there was hid came unto her, and lay with her. Then we that stood in the corner of the garden, seeing this wickedness, ran unto them. Okay, so basically they just told a lie. And when we saw them together, the man we could not hold, for he was stronger than we, and opened the door and leapt out. Okay, verse 40. But having this woman, who we asked who the young man was, but she would not tell us, these things do we testify. Then the assembly believed them as those that were the elders and judges of the people, so they condemned her to death. So they believed the lie, and they were gonna, put her to death. Then Susanna cried out with a loud voice and said, O everlasting power, that knowest the secrets, and knowest all things before they be. Thou knowest that they have borne false witness against me, and behold, I must die, whereas I never did such things, as these men have maliciously invented against me. And the Lord heard her voice. Therefore, when she was led to be put to death, the Lord raised up the Holy Spirit in a young youth, whose name was Daniel, who cried with a loud voice, I am clear from the blood of this woman. And then all the people turned towards him and said, What mean these words that thou hast spoken? So he, standing in the midst of them, said, Are ye such fools, ye sons of Israel, that without examination or knowledge of the truth, you have condemned a daughter of Israel? Return again to the place of judgment, for they have borne false witness against her. Wherefore all the people turned again in haste. And the elders said unto him, Come sit down among us, and show it us, seeing the power hath given thee the honor of an elder. 51. Then Daniel said unto them, Put these two aside, one far from another, and I will examine them. Okay? So when you're questioning multiple people, you have to keep them separate, so that way they can't try to, speak to one another to try to conjure up some bullshit. Okay? To try and keep their story supposedly accurate or straight, when really it's a lie. Okay? And let's see, verse 52. So when they were put asunder from one from another, he called one of them and said unto him, O thou that art waxen old in wickedness. Okay? Waxen old in wickedness, which means, he's in those ways, those wicked, abominable ways. He's been that way for a long time. Now thy sins, he's into those ways, man. He's deep into wickedness. And it says, Now thy sins which thou hast committed aforetime are come to light, for thou hast pronounced false judgment, and hast condemned the innocent, and hast let the guilty go free, albeit the Lord saith, The innocent and righteous shalt thou not slay. Now then, if thou hast seen her, tell me, under what tree sawest thou them accompanying together? Who answered under a mastic tree? And Daniel said, Very well, thou hast lied against thine own head. For even now the angel of the Most High hath received the sentence of the Most High to cut thee in two. So he put him aside and commanded to bring the other, and said it said unto him, O thou seed of Canaan, and not of Judah, beauty hath deceived thee, and lust hath perverted thine heart. Thus have ye dealt with the daughters of Israel, and they for fear company with you. But the daughter of Judah would not abide your wickedness. Now therefore tell me, under what tree didst thou take them company together? Who answered, Under a home tree. See, they couldn't keep this. See, so they got a different answer, right? So you know that they both were lying. Then said Daniel to him, Well, thou hast also lied against thine own head, for the angel of the Most High waiteth with the sword to cut thee in two, that he may destroy you. With that all the assembly cried out with a loud voice, and praised the Most High, who saveth them that trust in him. And they arose against the two elders, for Daniel had convicted them of false witness by their own mouth. And according to the law of Moses, they did unto them in such sort as they maliciously intended to do to their neighbor, and they put him to death. Thus the innocent blood was saved the same day. Okay? So being future up and coming kings and judges in training here, we have to consider a matter. Okay, we just can't make false accusations or just assume. Okay, and this is not about getting into your emotions. This is about using logic. Okay, so you have to consider at the matter, meaning you have to, like you have to hear both sides of the story and think things through and figure out who's telling the truth and who's lying. Okay? And there's another case in the book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 39, starting at verse 7, I believe. And this is going into Joseph. It says here, actually I'm going to start at, let me see. And this was the time when Joseph was becoming well favored in the sight of Potiphar, who was the Egyptian Pharaoh. Starting at verse 5, and it says, and it came to, Genesis 39:5, and it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand. And he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat, and Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. Verse 7, and it came to pass after these things, that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, lie with me. Verse 8, but he refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in the house, and he hath committed all that he hath to my hand. Verse 9, there is none greater in this house than I, neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against the Most High? So, again, when someone shows you favor, and they give you all this trust, and they give you trust over their household, because they trust in you and they favor you and their people favor you, and Joseph right here was being a man of integrity. Yet, the Pharaoh's wife, Potiphar's wife, she was being wicked. She was being adulterous. Okay, she was trying to get Joseph to, have intercourse with her. And Joseph said, "No, I'm not gonna betray your husband's trust." Okay, and that's how we have to be, not just logical on all matters, but we also have to have integrity. Alright, continuing on. Let's see. Oh yeah, verse 10. And it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her, to lie by her, or to be with her. Verse 11. And it came to pass about this time, that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. Verse 12. And she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand, and fled, and got him out. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand, when was fled forth, then she called unto the men of her house, and spake unto them, saying, see, she hath brought in an Hebrew unto us. He hath brought in an Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. And it came to pass that when he heard that I lift up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me, and fled, and got him out. And she laid up his garment by her until her Lord came home. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, the Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us, came in unto me and to mock me. And it came to pass, as I lifted my voice and cried, that he lift his garment with me and fled out. And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which he spake unto him, saying, After this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. Verse 20, but the Lord Yahweh was with him, was with Joseph, and showed him mercy, and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord Yahweh was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper. Okay? So, once again, this is just another example of, the innocent, false accusations against the innocent, false witness. All right? And this is all about, like I said, this is about the great doctrine. Okay? Because in this society, ravish or grape is a serious crime. And it can get someone put behind bars for a lifetime or so many years, and hell, the person can end up dying in prison because in this society, that's grape, or whatever the case, is something that's highly frowned upon. Highly frowned upon. When the scriptures, like I said, the people of this society here in America, they don't use logic, they use emotion. Okay? And the Bible tells us, leave your fucking emotions out the window. When you come into this ministry, leave your emotions at the doorstep. So, as the scriptures say, be not ignorant of anything small or great. Okay? You have to, and as a prophet, an up and coming future king, judge, and priest, you have to examine the matter in all aspects. Most of all, use logic and have integrity. Use wisdom. Okay? When you see something, say something, and if there's a situation that arises, and you know that some shady shit's about to go down, okay? This is where you have to use that logic, have integrity, and do what is right. Okay? Regardless of what your flesh is feeling or saying. Okay? Alright, that's and as a matter of fact, let's see, I think it's let's see. Alright, let's see, give me a second here. Just bear with me for a moment here. Try and find it. Oh gosh, there we go. So going to the commandments, the 10 commandments that the so-called Christians abide by. And verse 14, it says, "Thou shalt not commit adultery." That's verse 14. Now, verse 16 says, "Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor." Verse 17, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's." Okay? So those were, those commandments that I just read, those were examples of those other precepts I just brought out in Deuteronomy, Susanna, and in Genesis. So, people, like I said, the people of this society, they don't follow this book. They don't. They're just using it for profit. Okay? For filthy lucre's sake. And you Israelites who are using this book for profit, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to put your ass to death. Using it for your own gain. Don't think that the Lord doesn't see what you're doing, because you're not doing His work. Okay? The men that are out here on the highways and byways teaching the truth that you are against, okay? The Lord, trust me. Us, the prophets, the true prophets, Lord willing, that we are those men, Yahweh Shem Yahushai be dealing with us, because we know He's not dealing with you. Alright? We're not doing this for filthy lucre's sake. We're not doing this for popularity. We're not doing this to tell you those sweet things. No. And many shall be offended by this word. Okay? Well, the truth is meant to tell you like it is, whether you get offended or not. This is going to be Sirach, chapter 26. And it says, let's see. Let's see now. Where's the scripture? Well, let's see. Give me a moment. Okay, this is going to be Sirach chapter 26. I'll start at verse 22. And it says, "And harlot shall be accounted as spittle, but a married woman is a tower of death against death to her husband." Okay, so a harlot, the Pharaoh's wife that tried to, grape Joseph, she was trying to be a hoe. Okay? She's counted as spittle, which means that she's nothing. She means nothing. Okay? But a married woman is a tower against death to her husband. Okay? Now it says here, verse 23, "A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord." So actually, you know what? Verse 24. That's the scripture I was looking. Verse 24. "A dishonest woman contemneth shame, but an honest woman will reverence her husband. A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will fear the Lord." Okay, there we go. But going back to verse 23, it says, "A wicked woman is given..." Verse 22, "A harlot shall be counted as spittle, but a married woman is a tower against death to her husband." Okay? A married woman is a tower against death to her husband. So, a woman is supposed to be a man's comfort, convenience, and support. And she's supposed to be his pillar of rest. Okay? She's supposed to keep her husband well fed, at ease. Keep him happy, keep him satisfied, please him. Okay? Now, verse 24, "A dishonest woman contemneth shame." So, Pharaoh's wife, because of her dishonesty, she brought shame upon him. She brought shame. But an honest woman will reverence her husband. Okay? An honest woman will respect her husband. So apparently, Potiphar's wife had no respect for him whatsoever. None. Okay? And believe it or not, when the Israelites are back in power after this captivity, these heathen nations are going to follow the laws that come out of this book. And if they disobey or go off, the punishment will be severe. Okay? So, like I said, this is just and for you Israelite women that be going out here all by yourself, out in the middle of the night partying going on, you shouldn't be going anywhere alone in the first place. That's why the scriptures say right here. Verse 11, Sirach 26:11, watch over an impudent eye and marvel not if she trespass against thee. Okay? Watch over an impudent eye and marvel not. Don't be surprised when she, disobeys your order. And an impudent eye, a woman that obviously doesn't respect your authority. Okay? Because these women, the majority of these women nowadays, they have no respect unto their parents, especially have no respect unto their fathers. Verse 10, Sirach 26:10, if thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. Okay? You women bring shame, you promiscuous women, you hoes out there, you bring shame unto your father. Okay? You want to be a 304 and go out here and get ran through? All you're doing is not only disrespecting yourself, but disrespecting your father. And your mother, but mainly your father. Alright? We didn't get too off topic, but this is just going to the ravishing doctrine, the great doctrine, but hopefully it was edifying. Okay? Going to face the east, giving all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bath, the Dabadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. And remember, you women out here that are playing the harlot, if something bad happens to you, you have no one to blame but yourself. With that, Shalom. Kwam Yasharallah, Wa Ababa, Shalom, Barakatah.